Veganism is COPIUM. You want to save the animals to hold your high moral standpoint, but ignore the fact that your life depends on their meat and flesh. We can talk about the morality in this video, which we will, but from the standpoint of health, being vegan is objectively wrong. Being vegan is objectively bad for you. A healthy vegan diet needs many supplementations, supplements that mimic the nutrients and vitamins from animals and animal products. B12, D3, vitamin K2, omega-3 fatty acids are one of those nutrients and vitamins you cannot get from a raw vegan diet, which requires supplementations to maintain a healthy human body. There is a reason why 84% of vegans quit being vegan after more than 1 year. From an objective standpoint, being vegan is not healthy for you. The main reasons are because it is not sustainable, and that we evolved from eating meat. I heard a statistic saying that after 4 years of being a vegan, your liver gets depleted from all of those B12 vitamins, making the body not able to produce any more healthy red blood cells and leading to severe nerve damage. Which explains why most vegans show unusual behavior on the internet. But that is just cherry picking in my favor. I'm not really a carnivore or a raw meat fanatic in the raw meat community. I'm not the guy who will go 100% into promoting only eating raw meat and raw animal products, but I'm just saying that there is a reason why we eat meat and why being vegan is damaging to your health. Now that we quickly went over the topic of health, because there isn't that much to say about it, there are countless of anti-vegan raw meat YouTubers out there who can go much deeper into the details regarding the topic of health. But let's talk about a more interesting topic, which is morality. Is it moral to end the life of an animal to sustain yourself? Is it moral to follow our biological nature of killing to consume? Is it moral to view a cow, sheep, or pig lesser than yourself and to use it for your own benefit? First, in the nature, morality doesn't exist. We created the morality for a better society, but deep down, that doesn't exist. Nature did not make a universal moral law to follow. It is all in the perspective. It is moral for a lion to bring the dead zebra to its family, whilst that would be extremely unmoral from the zebra's perspective. Even though we live in cities full of concrete, and we read and write books and invent stuff, deep down we still follow our biological desires. And because of that, we still desire what every single animal desires: survival, reproduction, and the avoidance of pain or the minimization of suffering. To achieve these, we don't use morality. We didn't question ourselves if achieving that is good or evil. We just followed our natural desires and fully optimized it. The only metric to achieve that is power. We were the most powerful and consistent in living and surviving to the point where we could start taking more from nature. Because taking more means being more powerful, and because every animal seeks power deep down, the power of control, power to hold territory, power to be free, we started expanding and exploiting other less intelligent and less powerful animals for our own benefit. Why should we hunt wild boars when we can exploit pigs and just farm them? And now in the modern era, where we see how much we can exploit less powerful beings for our own sustenance and seeing the footage of their living conditions, here comes the question: is that moral? We can agree that their living conditions in these massive industrialized farms isn't moral, because we want to reduce suffering overall, but is exploiting the less powerful for our own survival a good thing in the first place? There are people who say that every single life on this planet matters, but is the life of a farm animal equal to the life of a human? We can have multiple takes on this question. We understand that the ultra-powerful don't care about morality, and that people who do not possess farm animals or resources in general use morality to guilt-trip the rich into sharing their loot, as morality is the only weapon to fight with. Hypothetically, if animals could communicate with us and speak with us, they would be the ones using morality and mental gymnastics to not be exploited, as they aren't powerful enough to fight for themselves against humanity. And because in this world, if you cannot fight for the things you desire, you will be in the possession of others people's desire. You will be accomplishing the dreams of other people. So what if you want to break that cycle? Is it moral to reject the path of progression because progress hurts others? Is suffering of lesser intelligent beings worth it for the progression of humankind? The most common moral argument from the hardcore vegans is: what if you are trained like that? What if you are being placed in the exact same position of those farm animals, in those cages, with no room to move, with no sunlight, being injected with so many vaccines and chemicals to grow big and fat? First of all, if we are arguing about the living conditions of the animals, then yes, that is a disaster and we should improve those living conditions. But if we are arguing about some more powerful being using us as cattle for their own benefit, then my saying is, so be it. At the end of the day, if that hypothetical situation were real, complaining about it doesn't help me in any sort of way. It is natural that more intelligent and more powerful beings will use the lesser for their own benefit. The strong against the weak. And if that happens to us humans, we wouldn't allow ourselves to become victims like that and would not cooperate. We would not subdue. But if we are being real, the elites look at us as cattle, bro. They just give us bread and circus to distract us so that they can keep gathering more and more resources for themselves. People Google more about Love Island rather than other political and important stuff, but that's a different topic. I do not have a direct answer to the moral question of exploiting the less powerful for our own benefit, as I'm just a random dude with a microphone talking to the camera. Many of these farm animals experience generations and generations of conditioning to the point where now they cannot live without us. They are born into slavery, and because they aren't aware of their lack of freedom, that is the only thing they know, so they probably aren't even suffering as much as we think. I still agree that we should improve the living conditions of those animals, but stopping the progression of society, and that now so many people rely on that form of food production, it is more unmoral to stop that, than letting it continue as it is. But why? Can we compare human suffering to animal suffering? Do we suffer and experience pain the same way? Pain is relative, I agree, but which pain is more justifiable? We value animals by 4 metrics. How easy an animal is to control, how easy it is to tame, what does it provide, and how efficient it can perform a task without any resistance. Mules aren't smart, but are strong. Elephants are really smart, but are harder to tame. An animal which is more useful or is harder to tame will have their pain more justified and treated. Now, should we treat every single animal the same way? All of those questions in between sentences that I lay down, they don't have a direct answer, because it requires more context. Whom would you give more love and attention? A dog or a pet tarantula? Your personal bias may pick your favorite, but objectively, on average, people would treat the dog better, as dogs are way more useful than spiders. So to conclude the video, veganism is a coping mechanism, as you reject to follow your nature and biology to appease the morality that people around you made. It isn't healthy, it isn't optimal. That's that for the video. See you guys in the next one.